And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Twitch channel here on GameTrailers. I'm Andrea Renee, joined by Ian Hink of Mandatory Update fame. And we have Raj over here with us from 17-Bit. And we are here for Indie Games Live. It is presented by Gung Ho Media and Yummy Yummy Tummy here at Club Nokia in downtown Los Angeles. We're super excited because we're going to get to talk to lots of really awesome indie developers here and showcase some of their games and talk to them about the development process and their studio and what it means to be an indie. And we are super excited to start with Raj's game from 17-Bit, Galaxy. Now, before we get into the demo, I want to just talk a little bit about who 17-Bit is.
All right, well, it was started by Jake Kasdal, who's our creative director, art director, CEO, everything. Started a little while ago, did Skulls of the Shogun as a passion project, turn-based strategy game, and then shifted to Galaxy, paying homage to his adoration of 80s anime series, Robotech, Macross, Voltron, all of that stuff. He just loved it to death, so he wanted to make a game where you actually could be that lone fighter pilot. Jake is now in Kyoto. We're moving the whole studio out to Kyoto, Japan.
Oh, wow.
So he's out there holding down the Japan side. We got another engineer, designer out there as well. And then the rest of the team is in Seattle. And we're going to round out the game, and then the rest of us are going to move out.
Well, that sounds really cool, moving all the way to Japan and keep developing games.
No, Kyoto has kind of a burgeoning indie scene. It's a super exciting place, beautiful as well. Seattle is an amazing place, great indie scene as well, but with the prospect of moving to Japan, who can say no?
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's pretty exciting.
And if you guys out there are watching the stream on Twitch have any questions for us or for any of the developers who are going to be on the stream tonight, you can use the hashtag IndieGamesLive, and we'll be searching for your questions and taking them later. Kyle Bosman may even make an appearance with those questions later on. But why don't we go ahead and get started and take a look at the game?
Okay.
And you have a demo here for us.
Yes. So Galaxy, the version that we're seeing right now is specifically to demo to people, to jump into the gameplay. But it's set up like a Saturday morning cartoon. It is a roguelike, so when you play through it, if you die, you have to start the season over. There's 5 seasons, so basically you're playing, each mission's like an episode. You string those episodes together and you keep beating them, then you hit the finale episode and then unlock the next season.
Okay.
So the idea behind it is Adam Takamoto, ATAC, is our lone fighter pilot. There was a terrible fight. The Imperials have decimated your entire crew, like all your whole squadron, and it's only ATAC that's left. And then there's a mothership that's super ailing, but ATAC has to go out, try and find supplies to repair the mothership so they can get back to Earth. You have some different factions in here, but as you get in, you'll be fed the story, there'll be a tutorial, and then you'll come into what we call the CIC, the command center. And Beam, who is really the one helping kind of guide you through your whole experience, will set you up on your next mission.
Cool.
So she would normally come in here, kind of break down exactly what you're about to do, and set you off on your way.
I love her hair.
Yeah, I really like the style of the characters. It's really cool.
It's, you know, throwback to those old anime where they had really iconic characters, and one of the artists on the team, Kalen Wagner, he's awesome. Does all this stuff. Jake does a lot of the design, and then you have the other guys go and flesh everything out.
Cool.
We will go to a planetoid. So there's different locales. You're going through the universe and trying to explore, or the galaxy, sorry. Trying to explore different areas.
That's
Call back.
So this is Crash. Crash is kind of like the B.A. Baracus of space. He can kind of fashion anything into something else that's super cool. So at some point you encounter Crash, and then he comes to your side and now makes weapons for you.
So you like build your team out through the course of the game?
Yeah, your main cast of characters kind of come in fairly early on and then support you. And so he's really to facilitate getting cool upgrades and passives. So you come into here, he gives you a little bit of money to start out. You know, first taste is free. And then you get to pick amongst some of these different power-ups. So armor plating, let's buy some of that. You can do clip, you can change your gun, you can change the weapons that you're shooting, electricity. So let's shock some people.
Yeah, let's do it.
Not with our behavior.
Well, we could do that too, maybe.
And then in here you get to actually cycle through. What you're doing is you're collecting blueprints as you're playing, and you collect enough blueprints for one specific upgrade, and now it's unlocked to you. But each time you come back here, your loadout can be different. So you kind of buy a new loadout and set yourself on your way. If you die, you lose everything you loaded out, but you don't lose all the blueprints that you have.
Okay.
So you get to slowly build this up, so that at the end of the season, this thing's pretty full and you have a lot of different
Do the
options.
levels progress like that too? You said it was roguelike, but if you make it through episode 3 of season 1 and die, do you have to do all those again?
You start over.
Okay. So it is like...
But since it's a
Truly like
roguelike, everything's procedurally generated, so you're never going to see the same missions twice. Even though it might be the same thing you're going out to do, you might be going to collect scrap metal, but it'll be a totally different locale, different enemies, different layout.
Oh,
Okay.
great.
And the seasons, I assume, progress difficulty-wise?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
If
And
you unlock season 2, do you lose that if you die, or does...
no, so now
That's
you've unlocked,
Okay,
and
okay.
you got to keep going.
I mean,
So
that would
that's
be
the
pretty
checkpoint.
neat.
Yeah, that'd be brutal.
Right?
No,
I
no,
mean,
That'd be brutal.
we love our players.
Yeah, okay.
Now, this is going to be bad. This is on a 360 controller, and I'm using that as an excuse as to why I'm not good at the game.
Hey, I use that excuse all the time.
And that's normally my excuse why I'm bad if I'm using mouse and keyboard. But I'm
Yeah.
terrible with mouse and keyboard.
So this whole thing is really a giant physics experiment. You have complete control over your ship.
Wow. Yeah.
You can also bump into stuff. It doesn't hurt you.
Oh, it doesn't.
But flying is one of the best parts about the game because the controls take a little time to get used to, but then once you do, it's really like playing ice hockey and being able to skate backwards while shooting at somebody else. Now you have a little halo that goes around you that's your sound, basically. So if you want to sneak up on an enemy, you can see whether they can tell if you're there or not. The AI is really intelligent. Jake kind of likens it to Far Cry 3. They have vision cones, they have patrols, they're really intelligent, they all have different personalities, and they're all coming out to try and find you. There's different factions, there's the pirates, the Imperials, and the bugs, and each of the factions hate each other.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about this like meta story. Like, you know, who are these enemies that you're fighting? What's happening in this universe?
So a little traditional as far as these space animes go. There's the good guys, there's the bad guys, and then there's the others. And so the pirates are kind of in between. They're out scavenging, trying to take out the Imperials as well as take out your allies. But they're really all out for themselves. The bugs are fairly brainless, and they're just out to try and eat you.
Okay.
There's also a cool thing you can do. It is our Macross missile spam. And then you pick up their loot, and this is basically what's funneling your economy to be able to buy the next stuff. The Imperials are evil, and they're trying to basically come to Earth and destroy it. And so they've killed you and your crew. Well, not you, obviously.
Right.
They've killed most everybody, and so you're now trying to go and defeat them and get back to Earth in time. So the general kind of archetypes, and then you'll see in the bosses a lot of personality and character. We really wanted to try to be true to Saturday morning cartoons and give you kind of those cheesy, over-the-top characters that you love to hate to love.
Yeah.
Something like that.
No, yeah, I can see the villain popping up there on the right every once in a while.
Right,
What
so-
other kinds of things they're saying to you?
So they're basically responding. Every time you go after somebody, they know what you're doing, whether you're attacking them or not. So they have their little own quirky personality-based responses. So this guy's like, "Oh, you never get away," stuff like that.
Yeah. Are you guys going to have a multiplayer component?
We had multiplayer set up. It doesn't look like it's something that's going to be coming out right away, but it is a ton of fun. And it begs for it, right?
Yeah.
You want a dogfight.
Well, I just see that, you know, it can quickly develop into lots of on-screen chaos, and why not, you know, make the chaos a little bit more fun and add even more chaos with another person?
Were you guys thinking for the multiplayer couch co-op, like all on the same screen kind of thing?
This is one of those games we think would really benefit from people being in the same space, playing with each other, and then they could also potentially share the screen. But we're looking into also being able to play online. I did forget to mention that you have some of these interactables. These are sticky spores, so you can lure your enemies. Other people are better at it than I am. Spiky spores, shoot out, and these guys, I will sacrifice myself. They're not working. Okay, good. there's all kinds of interactables.
Yeah, I like those. Missiles come out.
They're spiky spores. See,
Yeah.
so this is what would happen to an enemy if I was smart enough to kite one of them in the air.
Oh, okay.
So you said that Sony is one of your guys' partners.
Yes.
Are you guys doing anything special with the DualShock?
We are. We're using the center pad to be able to bring up your map and navigate around. Not too much special functionality. It's pretty straightforward, but we do want to take advantage of it. And we're also coming to Vita, so we're working on our control scheme for the Vita as well.
Awesome. You know, when I first saw the DualShock 4, when Sony unveiled it, I thought that the touchpad was going to be kind of gimmicky,
Right.
but I've actually really grown to love it.
I agree.
It's kind of neat. They're used to, I mean, there was always a button in the center, but it was kind of wasted space before. I dig it. I think, and they came a long way with the...
So many games are using it for the map, too, and for some reason that feels really natural. To just be like, I gotta look at a map, I'm gonna click on this big map-shaped button.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, exactly. And then, and it helps, right? Because the select button is now the share button.
Right.
Which gets confusing for simple-minded people like myself.
The first couple of weeks I was trying to share when I was trying to get my options menu open. So what games, you talked a lot about the animes and things that inspired this conceptually. What other games did you look to? Because to me, it seems like a little faster, like pixel junk shooter and things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of influences, and that's the cool thing about this. You have like a little bit of Asteroids, a little bit of Defender, and then, gosh, there's a game I'm totally blanking on from the days. The team's going to get mad at me for this, but...
That's okay, we're live.
Yeah.
Sometimes you forget
it's all right,
stuff.
it doesn't matter.
Don't worry.
But there's a bunch of games out there that have kind of done something like this, but we really wanted to make something where it just felt super fun to fly around.
Yeah.
And to have enemies that were constantly interesting to fight. This used to be a narrative-based game, but we loved basically our test gameplay level so much that we just decided to make it a roguelike where gameplay was featured more.
How far into the process did that decision happen?
About a year ago.
Wow.
A little less than a year ago. So it was pretty deep into production.
It's a gutsy change.
But you know, it felt right.
Yeah.
And now we have, right, they're really going to laugh at me back at the office.
Did that guy just melee?
Yeah, so he's also got a cool charge attack. If we, so he's a sword sentinel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
Intense.
He is mean, and usually you want some missiles to fight with him. And basically, he's protecting this warp out point. So Beam has directed me to this warp out point to try and get me back to the mothership. There we go.
Nice.
There was another question in that.
So did I.
You know, it was interesting. We were talking about, you know, kind of what you could maybe like in this game too. And one of the things that I thought of right away was all of the colors on screen at the same time really reminded me of Geometry Wars.
Oh yeah.
I mean, obviously the gameplay here is much more complex than that gameplay is. The enemies and the AI that you fight there are pretty monotonous. Outside of their colors and maybe some patterns, and these seem like they have a lot more personality to them. But the same kind of on-screen chaos, I think, is present.
Yeah.
Did you guys have time to try and give it a shot yourselves?
We've got about a minute left, and then we're moving to see Homesick.
Well, I think we should probably talk about, you know, when
first,
people can get their hands on it.
Yeah.
We are looking at early next year, probably like first quarter. Right now, we're putting in the procedural story, so you'll all get the same story, but it kind of comes to you a little bit differently, especially through all these barks that you're seeing from moment to moment. So we're integrating that stuff in, and for us, it's always about quality. Skull and Shogun hit a really high quality bar, and we don't want to put it out until it's ready.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what platforms are you going to be releasing on?
We're going to PS4 and Steam.
And you mentioned Vita's coming down the line?
And Vita's coming down the line as well.
Are you thinking, like, do you guys have, like, a launch window for that yet, or is it just kind of like, it's coming when it's ready?
It's coming. It'll be pretty shortly after the PS4 version. It's just to cram this beautiful game into the Vita is just going to take a little bit of time and a little bit of finesse.
Absolutely.